Thanks to everybody that's joining. Just give everyone a few more moments to join onto the call, and we'll begin shortly. Whilst we go through the webinar, there'll be the opportunity to ask some Q&A questions through the Q&A box that you'll see on your screen, and we'll cover those off at the end. We're broadcasting this across a few different platforms, so we'll have a few different questions coming in from various locations. So please ask any sort of questions you have, and we'll cover them off at the end of the webinar. Okay, so we'll get started, and I'm sure there'll be a couple more people that join, but we'll kick it off. So first of all, we'll go through the agenda in terms of what we're covering today, and I'd like to first start off by thanking everybody for joining us today. We understand just how much is going on at the moment, and really appreciate the time that you're taking to join us. Over the last few weeks, various businesses, or every business, is required to either pivot the focus and or quickly adapt in the way that they're interacting and operating on a daily basis with their teams, clients, and various suppliers and stakeholders. So the main objective of running the series of webinars that we will be is to provide as much value and support to everybody and go through this journey together. So there's various challenges that we're all facing, whether that be remote working, whatever it might be. But we feel that together, if we help each other, we'll be able to go through this and get through this and come out the other end a lot stronger than we currently are. So we have John presenting today. John's our most senior account manager at Milan Industries, and he'll be covering off 4 sort of key areas, and that is communicate, collaborate, customize and extend, and also work with confidence, specific to the Microsoft Teams platform. We feel that this platform has the ability to definitely support your business, and we believe that because we've embedded it within ours. We a number of years ago, through the different departments we have in our business, had found that whether we're working remotely on site, whether we're working in either of the offices that we have, there's different challenges that we faced, and email, it just isn't sufficient to communicate quickly and have everybody on the same page. So we hope that by sharing our experience and knowledge, this will help you and allow you to overcome these challenges. So I'll hand over to John and let him get started. And thanks again for taking the time to join us.
Thanks for that, Jordan. Again, I just want to thank everyone for their time this morning. I know how busy everyone is at the moment, so I'll try to keep this session as informative as I can, with as much information jam-packed into it. So starting off, at Milan Industries, we're using Microsoft Teams, as Jordan mentioned, as one of our main tools now that we're all working from home. With the current COVID-19 situation still ongoing, a lot of businesses are being forced to become more agile and adapt and to the remote working environment. It's taken some getting used to in our workplace, that's for sure. So whereby we can't have the normal office conversations we've been used to having, but prior to using Teams, we were stuck with a chat program for all our communication, which I'm sure a lot of you have been, which was both boring and a significant shift in our team culture. So I think we'd all agree keeping team morale high in times like these is essential. So when we started integrating Teams into our workplace, we noticed an immediate shift in morale and efficiency. So some of our attendees today may already be used to working remotely or in the cloud. However, I'm betting there are some who've had massive culture shocks, like I have from working from home. So the main takeout from today's session is that if there's an application that can bridge the gap and help keep your team connected, we should explore it and put it to good use. So we know that coronavirus will forever change the way we work and learn. What we're finding, though, through the dealings with our clients is that the working landscape is changing rapidly. And as a business, it's key to adapt and use the tools at your disposal to enable your workforce to do so in a more efficient manner. Keeping this in mind, statistics around remote working environments and team enablement have significantly spiked, with more and more workforces now working remotely. Teams has registered 44 million daily users, a 1,000% increase in video calls and conferences, and a 200% increase in weekly meeting minutes. This comes off the back of a growing number of businesses using Microsoft Suite to its full potential, as a lot of you may not be aware of the in-depth tools and apps available in your current Office 365 subscription. Now, so I guess the question everyone's asking is, what is Teams and how can it help me and my business in the time of crisis and uncertainty? Well, the simple answer is Teams was created to enhance office teamwork and collaboration, but it has recently been adopted to bridge the communication gap in the workforce, caused mainly by the isolation restrictions that we're all in place at the moment that we're all going through. So by using Teams and other Microsoft collaboration applications, we found a significant increase in team engagement across our business specifically and some of our clients' businesses. Whilst the ability to engage in office conversation is now limited, Teams gives your staff the freedom to chat, call, and even video call colleagues to keep a sense of normality in the workforce. So here's a short breakdown of Teams and its core uses and how we've utilized it in our business. Teams is basically a hub for teamwork at its core. So a chat-based workspace that enables teams to be more productive by giving them a single and secure location that brings together everything a work team needs, whether it's chat channel, meeting space, calls, file sharing, or other tools. So we as a company have benefited from using Teams in our workplace significantly, as all our staff are now working from home, as I mentioned earlier. So the fact that Teams combines all the essential needs of a digital workforce into one app was very appealing and time-saving from a user level perspective. For example, you can chat, call, video call, schedule tasks, meetings, and share files and other material from the same application without having to toggle constantly between apps, or also dragging and dropping files from one location to another, which I know a lot of people are doing these days still. So we actually have a client who has converted all their internal communication and collaboration into Teams and is seeing a significant increase in productivity, staff engagement, and efficiency in their business. But I'll go into more detail on that a little later on. Of the many companies I've spoken to and assisted with implementing Teams, all have mentioned how easy it is to use once they've actually gone in and trialed it. And for companies who are worried about their staff not taking to Teams, which is a very common concern these days, my personal experience with clients I've helped recently is that the user interface is extremely easy to use, which makes accommodating change even easier. It even has a mobile app, so people on the road can use it, even on tablets as well. So the ease of use is fantastic. So what are the pillars that Teams is built around? So Teams aims to deliver on 4 core promises to keep the digital workspace, to create the digital workspace for high-performing teams. So the first one is communicate. First, Teams solves for the communication needs of a diverse workforce. It can be used as an informal one-on-one meeting tool, as I mentioned earlier, or a scheduled conference call. This enables people to share information in a transparent way, to accelerate decision-making also. It's also super easy to move from a chat into a face-to-face meeting to help you bridge geographical barriers. You'll notice in a second a poll pop up, so if you can just leave your feedback there in regards to how communication is being affected in your workforce and business. So feel free to click on that any second now. It should pop up. There it is. The second pillar is collaboration. So Teams integrates with the entire Office 365 suite. This includes Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote. I'm sure most of you have already used all these apps before. The ones that aren't so familiar with people is Planner and obviously third-party apps like Trello, LinkedIn, a few other ones. I'm sure most of you have experienced the process today where you want somebody's feedback and you send them a file via email, they store it locally, add comments, send it back to you, you store it again. It's a vicious cycle that kind of repeats in it results in multiple versions of files, and you have to jump between email and other apps to get work done. So it's not really an efficient way of doing things. Teams helps by bringing all the Office 365 services together so you can easily share and co-author files without the need for email attachments. Customizing and extending. So many of you use other services than Office 365 as well, which results in you having to jump between different apps and programs. Teams was built mainly to not only be the hub for Office 365 services, but for all the services and tools that people use on a day-to-day basis. So you can customize Teams with tabs, connectors, bots, to include apps and services that you need, like Planner, Power BI, and other third-party apps like I mentioned earlier, Trello, LinkedIn. There's a whole suite of different apps that you can integrate into it. So a client of ours actually uses Microsoft Planner, now that I've touched on Planner, within their project delivery team channel. So this ensures that they are keeping on top of scheduled tasks and that that everyone on the team is on the same page. It's also a great way to keep everything transparent, and the ease of use helps a lot with the business improving remote working efficiency. So this brings us to working with confidence. So working from home may pose security risks to a lot of businesses, but Microsoft Teams comes with the enterprise grade security that you'd expect from Microsoft. It also has compliance and manageability across the entire Office 365 suite, which allows businesses to rest assured that their data is actually secure as well. So let's take a look into the chat feature and how Teams may assist your staff. So today, teams are dynamic. Member roles, priorities, and goals can change, resulting in different communication needs across the board. In Teams, people can choose how they communicate. They can engage in one-on-one chats, in group chats, or in team conversations that are visible to the entire team, so everyone's engaged. Guest access has also recently been added, so you can now chat with everyone on your team, whether they're inside your organization or an outside partner. Teams also allows you to have fun together. You can include emojis, memes, fun graphics in messages, which allows you to show your personality and humanize messages, which our team definitely makes good use of the GIF feature in our social chat channel. Collaboration is key in progressive businesses, and now with isolation restrictions in full effect, it's more vital than ever to have easy collaboration with colleagues. I'm sure everyone can agree on that. Teams brings a range of different services together in one single workspace. This makes it one less place to go to, resulting in more time for productivity and efficiency. All your common tools, all the Office apps that people use every day, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, are all built into Teams and have active integrations, giving people access to the files and tools they need right within Microsoft Teams window. So it's all in one app. Users can share, co-author, and edit Office and other files right in the app. So you can actually edit and co-author things from within Teams. You don't actually have to flip between different programs. You can take notes with OneNote or access an integrated calendar from Outlook as well. So you can actually integrate your Office calendar, so your Outlook calendar within Teams. So Teams is also integrated with Power BI and Planner. So Teams can work in a central place with all the necessary tools to pursue team objectives and even project manage, which a couple of our clients are actually doing at the moment. So working with confidence, every group is unique, as we all know, both in structure and in style. So Teams has made it easy to tailor their workspace to their needs and to include apps and services which are relevant to their team or project. So you can set up your channels so that conversations on certain topics happen in designated spaces. For example, finance channels or HR channels, or even just a social channel for fun, lighthearted chat or office banter. You can pin important files for quick reference for the whole team to access them in just one click. You can also bring in cloud services to explore data and get updates from Microsoft apps and also third-party apps. For example, Teams can be integrated with cloud apps such as Xero for your accounting team, or even LinkedIn for your marketing team. The majority of Microsoft Suite is easily integrated into Teams already, such as OneNote or Planner for your task management and projects, but third-party apps may need some development work. For example, like I mentioned with Xero, we may need to build a connector between the two, but we can assist with that. So what we're seeing at the moment is that Microsoft is deploying significant resources to fast track the development roadmap in this area. This includes items like security and compliance standards, user experience, and regular new releases. Teams provides industry-leading security and compliance capabilities, along with comprehensive management capabilities. So as I mentioned earlier, security is always one of our core focuses at Milan Industries. So knowing that Teams is backed up by Microsoft's enterprise security is reassuring. Teams is compliant with the recent general data protection regulation laws. All data is encrypted at all times and kept within your region. It is also multi-factor authentication capable and has secure guest access for people outside your organization. So if you did want to invite guests into a specific team within your organization or with outside your organization, you can do so securely. So you may be wondering, how do different departments use Teams in the workplace? So I'll go through a few examples of how Teams can assist the different departments. So for marketing teams, for example, they can use They can manage public relation platforms and event planning from within Teams. They can add guests, for example, guest agencies with secure access. They can attach third-party services such as Hootsuite, Twitter, and Adobe Creative Cloud for greater collaboration as well. For sales teams, they can manage sales planning and reporting. They can set up monthly business reviews as meetings in Teams, which I know we're doing in our office. They can easily share documents, for example, sales playbooks. It can be done from within Teams as well. Finance teams, they can conduct their financial reviews within Teams. They can share content around business insights, audits and compliance, for example, annual financial statements or audit reports. And a link can be built between Xero and Teams, as I mentioned before, to enable greater collaboration and efficiency. For HR teams, they can manage their recruitment, training, events, and reviews from within Teams. They can collaborate, plan, share notes, and communicate decisions. They can upload files to the channels, for example, HR policies and training and recruitment notes. They can use Teams for training calls and do post-training surveys or third-party apps like SurveyMonkey. They can also be linked into Teams as well. And finally, project management. They can leverage Teams for planning, budget, analytics, reviews, and feedback. They can use apps like Planner to ensure scheduled tasks are completed on time, and there's a transparency across the board within the project team. And project review tools and feedback forms can also be integrated into Teams to provide the project management team with a central hub to deliver all projects efficiently and effectively. So staying connected to your staff and teams is essential in this time as well. So Teams can help with preparing for meetings. You can access notes and other material from one central location, and it allows you to schedule meetings easily from within Teams or even from Outlook directly. It also assists you to run productive meetings. So by leveraging voice, video, and other collaborative feature sets to keep users engaged. It also has high definition video, which keeps you and your staff engaged, and it has ease of access across multiple platforms such as mobile and tablet access. It also allows you to follow up easily with your team. So I mentioned before OneNote. I'm not sure if most of you are using OneNote, but I highly recommend you do. It's fantastic. Track progress using Planner, and also record meetings, which I believe we're doing so at the moment and going live through Facebook. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we do have a client who implemented Teams into their business. I just wanted to share this example of how they use Teams to improve their internal processes prior to COVID-19, and now post-COVID-19, how it has helped them with the communication across the organization. So this client who started using Teams prior to the current pandemic specifically to increase teamwork and communication across several offices. They have offices in Sri Lanka, London, 2 locations in Melbourne and 1 in Sydney. So anything they implemented needed to be something that could be used remotely and was easier to set up and use. So their main limitation with the platform they were using prior, which was Skype for Business, is that it could not integrate seamlessly into the other Office 365 apps. For example, they were using Skype for internal chat and video calls, and they were using a third-party application for project delivery and Salesforce for sales and marketing. So there was quite a few things going on there. Teams assisted with pulling a lot of their data into a central location, whereby they could access everything easily and share files without having to open multiple applications. The other feature that they were using to a fantastic effect is the use of Microsoft's streaming application called Stream. So a lot of you might not be aware of this. It's very similar to YouTube, but it's the Microsoft's version. So Stream allows them to host all their recorded meetings and training videos and pin them into team channels, for example, like a HR channel for onboarding of clients. They use this mainly for the staff onboarding and training, which I just mentioned, but this saves their staff from having to travel around the world to train people. So the owner of the business was physically flying to these locations and training staff himself. So you can imagine the toll it was taking on him. So the new staff member logs into Teams, has an entire channel dedicated to training and onboarding, including a wiki library, which you can pin frequently asked questions and have videos pinned in there as well. So this is just one of the examples of how Teams has assisted one of our clients in overcoming distance-based limitations and efficiency issues. I'm sure it can be applied across the board with all our clients and yourselves as well. So keeping that in mind, the next steps, obviously those of you who have Office 365 installed already, maybe go into Teams and have a play around with it, see what it's all about. For those that don't have Office 365, you can shoot us an email at sales@m-i.com.au or accountmanager@m-i.com.au. If you need support in doing this, we're more than happy to arrange a one-on-one session to walk you through the setup, and even a team webinar session to help your staff with how to use the program. Lastly, we'd love to hear back from you in regards to this webinar and any feedback you have for future sessions we run. Obviously, I'm probably talking too fast, so that's probably going to be the number one feedback item I get, so I apologise. But thank you again for your time, and I hope we can help your workplace benefit from using Teams. I'll throw back over to Jordan. Jordan, you there?
Yeah, thanks, John. Thank you for a great presentation today, and thank you everyone again for your time. I hope you've seen value in Microsoft Teams and the benefits that it could potentially bring your business. Again, today has been about us sharing knowledge with you. We know businesses are facing unprecedented challenges, so our goal is just, if we can help you overcome some of those challenges in various ways, that's what we want to do. We have a number of resources that we'll be pushing out as well. If you head to our website, www.mi.com.au/COVID-19, you'll find a resource page that we've set up and we're continuing to develop and build out. So we have a number of webinars that we have lined up and coming and planned, with the goal being, again, who in our network can we turn to support our clients? What various tools can we share with you to help? We know there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of tools that people are signing up to that they may not already be aware that there's something within the Microsoft suite that they already have access to and don't need to pay anything for. That would also ensure the security standards that we want to maintain and have everything in the same ecosystem. The next webinar that we will be holding is coming up in May. We've been lucky enough to secure a great speaker in George Liberopoulos. He will be discussing how businesses continue to adapt and in some cases struggle to either survive in the current pandemic crisis. What's becoming increasingly important is leaders needing to prepare how their businesses transition from the current crisis mode we're seeing and shift into that recovery mode. So I know I'm really looking forward to that. Some of you who have been to other events of ours will have seen George. He has a lot of experience. So again, it's just, how can we provide you with more value in your business? So we'll also have another webinar on Microsoft Planner. I know a number of our architectural clients have implemented that, and also some other clients and so forth. But it's another great tool that hopefully you can embed into your business. The results from the survey show that with a lot of the challenges we're seeing through COVID-19, over 50% of respondents said that communication has decreased. So, and then at the same time, it's sort of at an extreme where we're seeing either a heap of communication or not enough. So we feel that Teams can really help internally, at least, put all that communication into the one spot and make it a lot easier to operate. So thank you. That's the end of the webinar. If you do have any other questions, we'll answer them now. So we've got one here, John. So how can we use Teams for scheduling, knowing who's working and who's on, when we've got people on reduced hours, how does Teams help with that?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, there's a host of different apps, but we specifically use Planner and obviously Outlook to do the scheduling, which both integrate very well with Teams. Planner's more from a project management perspective, so you can assign tasks to users. It allows transparency across the board, so everyone that's assigned in that group can see the tasks, and they can see when certain tasks have been completed. So that's probably the two that I would recommend, Planner and even Outlook tasks and scheduling calendars from there.
Thank you. We've got another question. I know this has been something internally that we've been waiting for quite a while, and that is there a way you can view more than 4 people on your screen during a Teams call? That's something that is definitely coming. It's been on the roadmap for quite a while. However, what we've seen is due to the resources Microsoft's throwing at Teams, a lot of these things are being accelerated. So you would have seen, the ability to blur your background or add an image is now on Teams, where originally that was only on some other apps. We're expecting that either by the end of this month or early May, you'll be able to see 9 people on your screen within Teams, and we anticipate that that'll continue to increase as time goes on. We've got another question here. I'm interested in learning more about integrating Trello and other apps. Sarah will definitely we'll reach out and we'll organise a time to go through that with you. That's definitely one of the great benefits. Another comment from Sunny: great work, John. Thanks, Jordan, for organising. Cheers. So again, if you've got any questions that you want to ask post-meeting, there'll be a thank you email coming out. You can either respond to that or reach out. In terms of the offer of helping with giving you some knowledge around how to utilize Teams, whether you're a client of ours or not, we're sending that out to people that aren't our clients either. This is about how do we help all business owners. We know it's challenging times and we want to do what we can to support you. So please reach out. Thank you again and enjoy the rest of your day.